Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? I know I did for several years before I actually started. I had so many questions, how do I record? Do I need a fancy microphone? Do I need expensive cameras? Do I need to hire somebody? Do I need editing software? Do I need a studio? Do I need a website to, distribute this? How do I pay for a website and hosting? How do I get people to listen? How do I make money? And I struggle with this, and all those questions are the reason why it took me forever to just start. And the awesome thing is that Anchor solves all these questions. They answer all these questions. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. It's ridiculous. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. I'm just in my third episode in, and this is my first ad, and they're giving me $10 for this ad. It's only $10, but it's a start, and it will lead to more. So if you always wanted to start a podcast and aim to make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start in order to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. Can't wait to hear you. Welcome back to Kyle High Club. This will be the 5th episode of the MMA series. Today is Sunday. Yesterday was UFC. What was it? Fight Night 147, 146, 148. Okay, UFC Fight Night 148 on ESPN Plus from Nashville, Tennessee, at the Bridgestone Arena. Main event was Wonderboy Thompson versus Anthony Pettis. Great fight. I'll get to that later. As always, before I really start, I think I might start to do something different instead of doing a recap of the previous fights and then preview of the next week fights in the same episode. I think I'll break them up into 2 just so they're shorter, more consumable episodes. Even though it was nice to kind of put the ad break in between those 2, I find it ends up being a lot longer and almost 2 hours worth. So I'm going to do the recap. I actually watched every fight pretty closely and intently yesterday. I actually took some notes of just things I wanted to touch base on, so I remembered, and it triggered the fight for me, because a lot of times after watching these fights, I forget, I got work and got to feed myself, feed my cat, feed my family. Don't have a family yet, but one day. But yeah. And then, also maybe include some the latest MMA news. So plan on doing like a recap, either that Sunday or Monday, and then, a regular Kyle High Club episode around Wednesday, and then a preview Friday, possibly the night before or Thursday, or even early Saturday morning before those fights. So yeah, let's get into it. There were some great fights last night from top to bottom. I really enjoyed it. There wasn't really one boring fight. One of them was a little boring, but it wasn't that bad. It was just, in comparison to the rest, Nashville got a little spoiled last night. But yeah, start off, the first fight was between Jordan Espinoza and Eric Shelton. This was Jordan Espinoza's UFC debut. Although he had previously been on Daniel White's Tuesday Night Contender Series twice before this, and he also has 20 professional fights, and by no means necessary he's a rookie. Sure, he's a UFC rookie, but he had some experience, and Eric Shelton was ranked number 12th before this fight, and this is a 125 fight, flyweight division, men's flyweight, and yeah, he recently moved to Florida to train with American Top Team and try to become, one of the top tier guys in that division. But Espinoza, to me, just like the quicker, more athletic, more fluid striker and fighter overall. He had a strong jab that kept Shelton at distance, and he was able to establish game plan pretty steadily. And I had the first 2 rounds going to Espinoza, and the third round I wasn't really sure, so in my scoring system I've created, I gave them both 9-9s. Initially, I thought the judges might fuck it up and give, Shelton one of the first 2 rounds, and then maybe, just wing it for the third one, but they ended up getting it right, so congrats to everybody all around. It was a good fight to start the night off. Congrats to Espinoza. And it looks like Shelton actually moved up in the ranking to number 11 from number 12, and Jordan Espinoza is now number 14. So, yeah. The next fight after that was a kind of a gut-wrenching fight. I think I actually drew some tears while they were giving the little background or preview into, a little personal bio in each of these guys. So it was between Ryan McDonald, who was also making his UFC debut, and Chris Gutierrez. Now, for Ryan McDonald, his brother he was about to appear on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series a little while back, but a month before that, his brother committed suicide, and he was just wrecked. His brother was named Kyle McDonald, and Ryan was pretty wrecked, and he ended up not going on that show and fighting in front of Dana White. But I believe after that, after he got himself together, he picked up 3 wins at the pro circuit and earned a debut shot here on this card. He was unbeaten as a pro, and his story definitely brought tears to my eyes. And I looked forward to seeing the fight. And then Cruz Gutierrez, for him, he won 3 of his last 4 fights professionally, but lost his debut fight, which was his last pro fight. And they said he was fighting for his son as he's in a custody battle with his mother, and so that's a whole nother shit show as well. And Chris Gutierrez, fights in Denver and trains at Factory X with Anthony Lionheart Smith and Macy Barber, who's also on this card. I believe, she started the main card against J.J. Aldridge. We'll get to that later. But as far as the fight goes, this is 135 bantamweight, men's bantamweight fight. Chris Gutierrez won all 3 rounds on all 3 judges' scorecard, and including mine, ended up getting the unanimous decision pretty handily. Kind of just dominated Ryan McDonald the entire fight. McDonald showed his toughness and his heart, and I don't know if he's UFC material, but the dude's got the heart and the toughness, and I think a lot of fans, he probably gained a lot of fans that night, even though he didn't pick up the W. I'm a fan of his now. Again, it might be tough to find him competitive fights, but there's tons of up-and-comers, so probably not. I'm sure he'll get better. They said he took 2 months off after his brother's death, so he hadn't been continually training. I'm sure he'll go back in there and look better next time out. I look forward to seeing both these guys next time out, especially Gutierrez. He looked really smooth. And yeah, he just looked really good all around. So congrats to both guys. And yeah, next fight was also a good one. And this was a personal fight, and fights always tend to be more exciting when they're a little personal for some reason or another. But I just like watching them. Fuck the personal shit. This was a women's fight, 115 division. Which I believe was strawweight. It was Randa Marcos, who was number 15th, versus Angela Hill. And I didn't know this beforehand, but they had both been on the same season 20 of The Ultimate Fighter together, and they were on the same team. I forgot who their coaches were. But, yeah, supposedly they did like each other. They never talked to each other and just didn't get along personality-wise while they lived in the house, and even when they were on the same team. This was Angela Hill's 9th UFC appearance, so she had been in the UFC for a while. She's a veteran. She's long, she's lanky, she's got good striking, and she's been around for a while. Randa Marcos is actually from Iraq. I talked about this a little in the previous show. She was born in Iraq. She's a refugee and currently lives in Canada. And she was pretty solid. She looked pretty solid in the fight. Essentially, the game was over once it went to the mat. She dominated Angela in the ground game. Gave some good ground pound. And excellent transitions, and ended up submitting Angela Hill with an arm bar in the first round with about 30 seconds left. This is her fourth win by submission, all of them arm bars, and it was her first finish in the UFC and her first finish overall since 2014, and she looked really solid, and she looked pretty big for 115. Not like she's overweight or anything. She looked in good shape, but she just looked thicker and much stronger fighter in the cage there, and she might give some girls trouble at 115 on the ground for sure. And her stand-up didn't look bad either, although she's probably, she won't really be much of a distance fighter, but she had some solid straight punches and looked like she had some power in her hands too. She hit Angela Hill a couple times in the face, and it definitely looked like, she reacted. It was a really good fight. I look forward to seeing Marcos again in the cage, and she deserves obviously somebody in the top 15. She was 15 before the fight. She's still 15 now. So I'm sure they'll give her somebody else. And she didn't take any damage in the fight, so she should be good to go. It was a really good fight. And I believe, Random Marcos ended up getting a performance bonus. So she got an extra 50 G's in her pocket, so that's awesome. The next fight was a women's fight at 125, the new flyweight division that Valentina Shevchenko is currently the belt holder in. And this is an important fight. Alexis Davis versus Jennifer Maia. Alexis Davis was ranked number 5 before this fight. And then Jennifer Maia was unranked, but now she's ranked 11th. Or at least maybe that's what she was ranked beforehand. I don't know if they've actually updated these. These got to be old. But either way, these got to be old. But, there's a new division, so if either one of these ladies got a good, dominating win, then this could propel them to the top and, eventually to a title shot in the near future. It was a good fight. Jennifer Maia came out really strong in the first with some solid boxing, and definitely won the first round, I believe. And I didn't know this, but she had been injured for 2 years and had some USADA issues in the past, so that's why she hadn't been in the cage for a while. Alexis Davis, Jennifer Maia beat her up with her hands in the first, and then in the second round, Alexis Davis caught a kick from Maia, took her down, and basically just controlled her the entire second. And honestly, the third round, I didn't know who won that round, and I would have given it a draw. I would have gave the first round to Maia, second round to Davis, and the third round a draw. I didn't know. But judges ended up giving a 29-28 all three of them by unanimous decision to Jennifer Maia. So I'm assuming they gave the last round to her. And she probably did do the more damaging strikes and things like that. But it was close to tell. It was a very close fight, a good fight for both of them. That was Maia's first win in the UFC, so congrats to her. It was a good back-to-back women's fight there. And then the fight after that was between Frankie Sayens and Marlon Chito Vera. And let's see who got the win. Marlon Vera got the TKO win in the first round, 126, a minute 26 into the first round. This is at bantamweight 135. 3 straight first round finishes for him. Vera dropped him with a jab as Frankie was coming in, and he finished him with some devastating ground and pound. Marlon Vera is now tied for fourth in finishes at 135 with 5. And I didn't really hear him say this, but Brandon Fitzgerald, the play-by-play announcer for these fights, said he called out Nathaniel Wood, who fought the weekend before and is a really solid up-and-coming prospect. So if he did call him out, I think that'd be a good fight. And, the schedule might work out perfect since he fought last weekend as well. And they both, I don't think either one of them took too much damage. So that'd be an exciting fight. I'd watch it. And congrats to Vera on the first round finish. Second finish of the night after Marcos got the armbar on Angela Hill. And then the featured prelim fight between Bryce Mitchell and Bobby Moffitt. And this was a great fight. It really was, I believe. Yeah, it ended up being fight of the night. So whoever put this card together and put this in the feature prelim, good fucking shit. You're fighting, obviously. It's at 145, talented division, two young guys. And, man, this division is just going to keep getting stacked and stacked. 145, 155, 170, they're all stacked, man. So I think they need another division in there. There could be another champ in there, but, I don't get paid to make those decisions. Definitely don't. Yeah, Bryce Mitchell was a Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series winner. He had, it says back-to-back, God damn it, what's, Bobby Moffitt had back-to-back. He was a Dana White Contender Series winner. He had back-to-back chokes. I forget what the choke was called. Crucifix choke? No, I don't know. But he has 9 wins by submission. And then Bryce Mitchell was Ultimate Fighter contender. I believe he was in one of those seasons. I think he got injured and had to drop out. I didn't watch, so I don't know. I was just going off what they told us beforehand. It's the second UFC appearance for both guys. I believe they both got wins in their first fight, and they both had awesome nicknames. Bryce Thug Nasty Mitchell and Bobby the Wolfman Moffitt. He looks like a fucking wolf too. But yeah, in the first round, I had it going with Bryce Mitchell. He dropped him with a straight and then had him in a triangle for a little bit. But then in the second round, I thought Moffitt won it. He took him down and kind of controlled him for most of the fight. And then, I had it on my score. I have it right now as a draw in the third round, but I couldn't really tell. It was a close fight, but he probably definitely did more damage, but it was close. And Thug Nasty ended up getting the win. And the best thing I liked about this fight was his post-fight interview. He gained a fan in me. I hadn't seen him fight. I didn't see him on the Ultimate Fighter Contender. But, he's just a rural kid from Arkansas. He's got that southern twang and draw. And you can tell he's true to himself. He basically just was yelled out how he's from Arkansas. He's like, fuck everybody for telling me that I need to leave Arkansas to be worth anything. And he's just proud of his heritage, and I love it. And then he called out Reebok that he wants some camo shorts. And, hey, Reebok, get this man his camo shorts. He deserves camo shorts. I can't believe camo shorts aren't already a thing. How are they not already a thing? They got the fucking Irish shorts and the Brazilian shorts and, American-themed shorts and country-themed shorts. I get it. But, yeah, let's get some camo shorts in there. That'd be pretty dope. Yeah, it was a good fight, good way to end the prelims. As I said earlier, they won Fight of the Night, so both those guys ended up going home with 50 G's apiece, so that's awesome. Spend it wisely, fellas. And then we have had maybe not a better fight, but an even, just as good as a fight right after it to start off the main card between Macy, the future barber, and J.J. Aldridge. This was a pretty good, pretty awesome fight. This was at 125. I initially thought this was at 115, but this is at 125, so they're trying to fill in that flyweight division, which I think is smart on both ladies, because they're both younger fighters and up-and-comers, and honestly have a better shot at a division that's new and not as settled. It's not really sure who the top contenders are, except for maybe like the top 3 or so. I think it's a smart move up for both of them, and they both look like they had more power in them, and it was an exciting fight to watch. So Macy Barra finished 6 of her 7 pro wins coming in. She's the youngest fighter on UFC roster at 20 years old, and she stated how she wants to be the youngest fighter to ever win a belt, hold that championship belt. Currently, John Jones holds that record at 23 years old. He got the light heavyweight belt at 23. And this is a good fight. In the first round, Aldridge definitely got the better of Barber. She kind of picked her apart, definitely won the round 10-9. She looked good, knocked her down, had constant pressure, nice jab, and straight combos and counters, and was pretty quick with her hands. She looked solid. I wrote this down because I thought that maybe this might be, it was a big deal in the first round, but I thought it might end up being a bigger deal in the fight. DC Daniel Cormier pointed this out, that Macy Barber keeps her head on the line, quote unquote, when she throws her kicks. So when she's throwing her kicks, first of all, she wasn't setting them up with punches, so she was just throwing kicks without setting it up. And if you're a seasoned fighter, you can tell when a kick is coming and you can counter it pretty effectively. And so she wasn't setting up her kicks with her punches, and then when she was throwing kicks, her head was just standing right in the center, right in front of her, and her hands would be down as well. And you could see Aldridge was timing a little bit, and she was countering pretty well in the first round. But then in the second round, Macy Barber made an adjustment, just came pressing forward, clipped Aldridge with the left hand, kept the pressure, and eventually got the finish. Got the TKO in the second round, 3 minutes and 2 seconds into it, and she looked solid. Although she faced some adversity in the beginning, she made the adjustment within the fight, and got the W, and looked real solid. So I look forward. I think she should stay at 125. I think that'll be her best chance. Not saying she can beat Valentina Shevchenko. That's a fucking tall order, but be her best chance to move up the rank. It's quicker, in my opinion. But we'll see. The next fight after this was Luis, the Violent Bob Ross. God damn it, I can't even read my own handwriting, but it's Luis Pena, the Violent Bob Ross, might be the greatest nickname in the fight game. This man looks like Bob Ross, just with the little darker complexion, versus Steven Peterson, who's got a Superman tattoo on his chest. It was a good fight. Before I get into it, Bob Ross, his last fight was his first loss as a pro. Steven Peterson was on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, and he won his debut fight, which was his last fight in the UFC, so it was his second fight in the UFC. Bob Ross actually moved down to 145. He was at 155, and he was skinny at that division, but he ended up missing weight at 145, I believe, by like 2.5 pounds. So I thought that might play a role going into it. He might be drained, might be a little fatigued in there. This was Peterson's 25th pro fight, although this is only his second UFC fight officially. He's been fighting professionally for a long time now, so he's a veteran. It was a great fight. Steven Peterson's tough as nails, but Bob Ross is just so creative and fluid and athletic. Not only in his stand-up game, but his takedown defense is very unique. When Peterson would get him up against the cage, Luis Pena would attack his arm and go for like a Kimura, and use the Kimura and attacking that. As Peterson would take him down, he would transition and just very creatively just counter the takedowns, counter the transitions, and eventually get like a more dominant position than his opponent, and sometimes wind up on top after he had been taken down. And it was pretty impressive. He was just a very creative, very fun fighter to watch. He won 30-27, I believe, on all judges' scorecards. I can't remember, but that's how I scored it, and got the W. Hopefully he can make weight if he stays down at 145 going forward. I don't know if he will, but if he stays down there, he'd be a lot of trouble for a lot of those guys. I mean, he's 6'3", weighing 145 pounds. That's just ridiculous. I'm 6'2", and I weigh 180. So I can't imagine being an inch taller and then being at that weight class. So he could be some problems for those guys. I look forward to both of these guys fighting in the future. Although Peterson lost, and although I think he lost every round, he showed some heart. He showed some grit. I think he deserves to be in here, be in the UFC. He looked pretty solid. And he's going against a very talented and creative guy, a very unorthodox guy. So, good shit to both. And after this fight, now which fight was first? So after this fight was Jassier Formiga versus Divison Figueiredo. Hope I said that right. It was number 1 versus number 4 in the 125 division. Figueiredo was tied for the longest active win streak at 125 at 4. He finished 13 of his last 15, 8 by knockout, 5 by submission. He was undefeated coming into this, 15-0, I believe. And Formiga finished first in top out. What does that mean? I don't have any pre-notes on Formiga, but number 1 guy. So it's obviously solid. He's been here for a while. I have Formiga winning all 3 rounds. I didn't believe all the judges did. He won by unanimous decision. Finished the first round in top mount, so I think I kind of won in the first round. They trailed him. I can't even read my own handwriting. And then just kind of picked him apart. Neutralized him. That's what I wrote down. And he just basically neutralized Figueiredo the whole fight. You could tell Formiga's a well-rounded fighter. He can beat him on the feet, on the ground game, anywhere. And it was very clear after the first round, even during the first round, that Figueiredo could only win by the 1-punch knockout. And that he didn't have the same skill sets as Formiga to set up that 1 punch or get in the way of it, and so on and so forth. Formiga just neutralized him and just looked a better fighter and looked really solid. And Dana White mentioned some things about 125 division in the post-fight interview. I'll talk about the end of this. But essentially, I guess I can mention it real quick. Formiga won. He was the number 1 guy, and everyone's wondering, what's going to happen with at the 125. Actually, I'll get into that later because it deals with some news as well. So, let's just concentrate on the fights. Formiga got the win. All you need to know is he's in line for some big things coming up. Has to be. Number 1 guy, he just won. So, of course. I'm sorry I keep clicking my pen back and forth. I'm just checking and shit, the things that I talked about already. And it's just a habit to unclick when I'm done. So I'll try to just keep the pen out and dry it the fuck out, you fucks. So that was a good fight. The next fight was between John McDassie and Jesus Beneo. And earlier I mentioned that there was one boring fight. This might have been it. It wasn't really boring, but just all the other fights were kind of high pace, and these guys kind of respected each other. Also, this was a last minute change. Who was McDessie supposed to fight? Forgot who McDessie was supposed to fight, but his opponent dropped out late. And Jesus Pineo was actually supposed to fight Chris Gutierrez, who fought Ryan McDonald, the second prelim fight. So neither of those guys probably had ample time to prepare for either guy, so they kind of had to do their reads within the cage. So, but Jesus Pineo is his second UFC fight, 22 years old, although he has 44 fights on his in his background, in his past, which is crazy. Essentially, I think McDessie won the first round just straight from leg kicks. He kind of, as they're feeling each other out, Jesus didn't really throw anything, but McDessie was, throwing jabs, throwing 1-2s here and there, and leg kicks, filling them out and just tearing apart that leg. So I think he won the first round just based off that. And then the second round, Pineo got a head kick in the latter part of the second round that stumbled McDessie to end the second round, and he really didn't do much of the rest of the second round. The beginning of it, it was more McDessie just jab here and there, 1-2s, leg kicks, but I think Pineo sold the second round with that heavy head kick and stumbled him. But then the third round was just more of the same. McDessie just being the busier fighter. I think this is what won him the fight. He ended up getting the unanimous decision, I believe, 29-28. That's how I had it. I think one judge might have scored it 30-27, all to McDessie. I could see that as well, because Pineo only had really one strong strike that entire fight. So McDessie got the W's. He's on a 3-fight win streak now. And, he looked pretty solid. And he might deserve a C. It's I didn't even see what fucking weight class these guys were in. You idiot. Doesn't want to tell me. Was it 170 they were at? Oh my gosh. Let's see. Lightweight, so 155. So yeah, he deserves a guy in the top 10. Even though 155 is kind of jumbled up and it's pretty stacked, but you could argue he could deserve the top game guy. I don't know, there might be some other guys, but like Alexander Hernandez, I wouldn't mind seeing him, those two fight, after his loss versus Cowboy. So that might be a fight. Yeah, it wasn't super boring, but compared to how exciting the other fights were, it was. But after this, we had the co-main event between Justin Big Pretty Willis and Curtis Razor Blades. And this was by far the most dominant performance of the night. I don't know how Blades didn't get a performance bonus. Maybe because he made it look so easy. That's probably why. And I think most people kind of expected this fight. Before I get into the fight, Justin Willis had won 4 of his last 5. Not Justin Willis. Curtis Blades had won 4 of his last 5. He's only lost to Francis Ngannou, who's most likely number 1 contender. So 8 of his 10 wins are finishes. He had the highest takedown frequency in heavyweight division, the second accuracy ever. And then Justin Willis trains at ATA with DC and Cain Velasquez. He lost his pro debut, but he's won 8 straight after that, 4 in the UFC before this fight. After the fight, different story. Blades pretty much dominated Justin Willis from the beginning bell to the end. It wasn't on the feet too much, but he did clip him a couple times. Willis might have had a couple punches here and there, but Blades took him down and controlled him there. put on some nasty ground and pound for 3 rounds and just wore the dude out and broke him. And I scored the fight. I gave the first 2 rounds 10-8 rounds to Curtis Blades because I thought those were dominating rounds, and then the last one 10-9. And the judges, one judge had it how I did, 30-25. And then the other 2 had 30-26, so they definitely gave him the 10-8 in the second round. The first round wasn't as close as dominating, but I still thought it was dominating. The second round definitely was. And he broke the record for the most takedowns in heavyweight history, and he's still a young guy. He said he plans on breaking GSP's record of takedowns in the UFC. And who knows, he'll definitely destroy the heavyweight one. Curtis Blades looked really good. He called out JDS, Junior Dos Santos, Derek Lewis, or Stipe. And those are both top 3 guys. Blades is ranked number 4, so it makes smart to call out the top 3 guys in front of you. He wants that title shot, and he deserves it eventually. His only blemish in his last couple of fights is for him fighting against the most dangerous fucking guy in the UFC, Francis Ngannou. And he never took him down. They just stood and traded the entire fight, which is just ridiculous. And yeah, he deserves one of those fights. He said Stipe, I'd be down with Stipe. Stipe hasn't fought in a while. Him and Blades fight at it. Two solid heavyweights. Yeah, both of the guys deserve title shots. Once DC quits fucking around and try to fight Brock Lesnar, man. So whatever. But let's get in the main event. If you haven't seen the fight or seen the highlight yet, then I don't know what you're doing. Are you living under a rock? This was amazing. It was an amazing fight from beginning to end, even though it ended in the second round. Late in the second round, as you might know already, Anthony Pettis won. He dropped Wonderboy Thompson with 5 seconds left to finish the second round with a Superman hook. A Superman punch with kind of a little more of a hook on the end, not really straight punch. Off the cage, Pettis Wonderboy hit him with a nice, I think it was a backside kick right to his stomach area, his abdomen. And this pushed Pettis back against the cage, and once he felt the cage, he kind of just lunged off of it. He didn't jump off of it, but he kind of used it as a spring and caught his back on it and pushed himself forward, used that momentum to spring himself forward, and landed. As he sprang forward, he jumped and hit him with that Superman hook and dropped him with one punch, and then gave him 2 more punches for final measures to finish the fight. And what an exciting finish. It was amazing to watch. Wonderboy definitely, I thought, I don't know about dominated the first round, but definitely won the first round. He's winning all the second round, I think, too. He's picking Pettis apart, kind of picking him apart as he came in, and using his distance well. But Pettis just stuck to his game plan, just kept his guard high, let Wonderboy kind of hit him every now and then, but, stuck to the basics of defending himself, straight punches, and then when he had the chance and there was an opening, he took it, and he capitalized on it and got the finish. And, of course, got the performance bonus. He deserved it. And this was Pettis' first fight at 170, moving up from 155. And Wonderboy is the number 3 guy in the fucking division, so, he deserves to be up there. Now he was ranked 8th in lightweight at 155. Just beat the number 3 guy in the fucking division above him. So, he's got a lot of fights they can do. He can fight Jorge Masvidal. He said he wants to fight RDA. Since he lost to RDA at 155, he wants to avenge that loss. RDA just signed to fight Kevin Lee I'll actually talk about that here in a second. Yeah. We'll see. He said he would also like to fight the winner of Barboza and Gaethje, which is this coming up weekend, and I'll have a preview episode for that coming up. Maybe I'll talk about that a little bit. It was a great fight. I don't know where Wonderboy goes from here. Is this 4 losses in a row for him? He's had to have a win between then and now, right? Because I know he lost twice to Woodley. I beat Masvidal after he lost twice to Woodley, and then lost to Till, and then again to Pettis. So yeah, it's tough. He's not really a losing streak. I mean, technically it is, but it's kind of tough. It's a tough loss. Maybe, I don't know who you'd fight next. I said maybe Till again, but I don't really want to see that again. I don't know, maybe a Neil Magny. I'd like to see Neil Magny and Wonderboy. That'd be a good fight. Maybe Dos Santos, Eliseo Dos Santos, give him a big fight. Any of those, I like those. So yeah, it was a great night of fights, and even a great way to finish it. That highlight clip of Pettis' knockout is going to be playing forever, just like his other one was. We call the Showtime kick, the fucking running off the cage in WC and knocking out Ben Henderson cold with a fucking running cage kick, running octagon kick. So that's it for the fights. I already talked about Friday night, some performance bonuses, so we got that. I guess I'll just go ahead with news then. I got 20 minutes left in this hour, so I'm sorry about the clicks, man. But yeah, before I go into, real news, I have kind of a suggestion of what I think, the way they pay the fighters. I think it should be changed a little bit. Currently, it's structured as a win bonus, so fighters get paid a flat amount. Say it's $10,000 or $50,000. Let's go with $50,000 for argument's sake. And then I'll go with $10,000 for argument's sake, because you got to fight a couple times in a year. And some of the young guys, and it's for the younger guys really. So once you get to a certain fight, no one's going in there more motivated because they're going to, get that win bonus. Yeah, you'll be more motivated because you get double the money if you win, but at the same time, you're not trying to lose. So, I don't know. Instead of a win bonus, I think fighters should be, pay them a little more, have the little guaranteed, just raise the guaranteed amount like 10% or 20%, and instead of having a win bonus, just scrap the win bonus, get rid of it, have a finishing bonus. And I think this would solve a lot of, at least the casual fans' problems. Like, if they're boring fights, guess what? If you have an incentive to finish a fight, guess what? People are going to go for it. Right now they have an incentive to win, but they already have an incentive to win. They're not going to lose. No one's going to go into a fight, planning to lose. They're all planning to win. No one's going to pack it in because they know they're going to get paid the same. But if you had a finishing bonus, guys, and especially in the third round when, a guy's got a guy beat pretty good in the first 2 rounds, pretty handedly. Everyone knows he's up 2-0 on the scorecards, and a lot of times we see the guy just kind of coast and, jump or run around the cage, and, a win's a win, so do what you got to do to get the W. And they're kind of doing it now because they're just trying to secure that W to get that win, to get that extra money, and they're not going to risk it. But if you play them a flat rate, you give them a finishing bonus. And this should be for everybody across the board. I'd say extra $10K for finishing bonus, no matter what. If you finish your opponent, you get $10K. And then you still can have the performance bonuses or fight of the night bonuses. Or maybe scratch the performance bonuses and just do fight of the night and maybe knockout or submission of the night. Have one performance of the night. If it's like spectacular, like Pettis is, no matter what, that man deserves fucking extra $50,000 at least. But I don't know. I think that'd be a good thing to implement to get. And I don't want fighters to take unnecessary risk and knock the fuck out or anything like that just because they're trying to chase, a few extra zeros in their bank account. But it would definitely make the fights more exciting, especially towards the end of fights when they are a little one-sided and the guy's kind of just coasting to collect his win bonus. It would make sure that guy, he's like, okay, well, I've been destroying this guy for the second round. I'm going to try a little harder to see if I can finish him, get a little extra 10 Gs. And maybe he does push a little too far and the other guy clips him and he finishes it. Well, that's a fight game. It will make it more exciting. Who knows? I don't know. I like the idea. Give me a job, UFC. Just kidding. But not kidding if you do. Recently RDA, Rafael Dos Anjos, and Kevin Lee were announced to fight. I mentioned that earlier. And I just realized Kevin Lee has been fighting at 155, so he's moving up to 170 to fight RDA. That's interesting. I don't know how I feel about the move up for Kevin Lee. You couldn't beat Ally Quinta at 155. But he might be able to beat some guys above him, if they take him down, especially like a Poirier or McGregor. Ferguson's kind of nasty on the ground, so I don't know. But he's beat pretty much everybody below him, too. He's kind of stuck in the middle there in no man's land. He's not sure where to go. So I guess he's going up to fight RDA, who's just... he's kind of the same thing as Barboza. But I guess he's a little bigger. He'd move up to 170. So we'll see how that fight plays out. I'm not really sure, honestly. I do look forward to it. And then, if you keep up on MMA news, we all know that TJ Dillashaw, I don't know if they called it a failed test, but something popped up in his drug test. His previous fight with Cejudo. And he's decided to relinquish the belt at 135. He's given it up, which is a very classy thing to do instead of being stripped. I don't think he would knowingly take PEDs. Because he seems, I was going to say because he seems so competitive, but that's a reason why he would, and he seems so obsessed and always want that extra edge. He has that, Lance Armstrong personality. I could definitely see him doing it and then lying to people in front of their face. But who knows? I don't want to, tarnish a guy's name that we don't really know all the facts yet. But the facts are his test was flagged and he's given up the belt now. So now nobody has the 135-pound belt, and nobody was really sure what they were going to do. But Dana White, after the fights last night, stated that he knows what he's going to do. After the Formiga and Figueiredo fight, he said he's going to make the Henry Cejudo and Marlon Moraes fight happen. He said they both want it. I look forward to that fight. I believe Marlon Moraes. It's Moraes, actually. Marlon Moraes. I think Moraes deserves a title shot no matter who's at 135. And I was gonna be a little butthurt that he didn't get a title shot if Cejudo's moved up and fight Dillashaw. Of course, I'd rather see Cejudo try to take the 135-pound belt as well from Dillashaw. It's kind of nice that now. It sucks that TJ got flagged and he. I don't know if he'll be suspended or not, but he's not going to be fighting anytime soon for sure until they get this cleared up. They said they're going to go ahead and try to schedule Cejudo versus Moraes. So Cejudo will still be moving up, trying to conquer two belts at the same time simultaneously, be the third person to do it after McGregor and DC. and Moraes, who's looked stellar and has knocked out all the guys in front of him. All the contenders in front of him, is just keep charging. He deserves a shot, and it will be a great fight, and I can't wait to watch it. And then they said, and it looks like they're going to keep the 125 division, man. They keep making fights. There was there was only 2 fights on this card. Okay, I thought there was more at 125. But either way, they're still making fights. Number 1, number 4 just fought, and Dana said he's going to have Formiga and Jussier Formiga and Joseph Benavidez fight. They're the number 1 and number 2 contenders at 125, and they both won their last fight. So he said they would do those 2 fights on the same card, and then if something happens, somebody replaces somebody there. And then, I'm sure they'll probably do it they might do an interim belt. Probably not, though, because if Cejudo wins, they want him to hold 2 belts simultaneously. But then whoever wins that 1 and 2 fight between Formiga and Benavidez would have first crack at Cejudo back at 125 for that belt. So I'm excited, man. Things are coming together. Then we have some great fights coming up this weekend in Philadelphia. Main event is Edson Barboza versus Justin Gaethje. It's an exciting fight, number 6 and 7 at 155. My buddy lives in Philly, and I was going to fly there and watch the fights with them, but I got a bunch of other things coming up. Going to my sister's graduation, got a bachelor party and wedding to go to for my best bud, and then there's also going to be some fights in Chicago later this year in June, so I'll probably end up going to those instead. I told the dude to go. He's yet to been to a live UFC, but he likes UFC fights. He's the one who got me into it, him and his dad. But he's yet to do a live UFC event. And when I went to my first event, that completely got me hooked, and I realized this is the greatest sport in the world. The electricity in the building is like nothing you've ever seen, especially if there's great fights, especially if it's a smaller venue. I kind of like the smaller fight night venues, at least for the live thing, because there's not... Well, it depends on the arena, but it's amazing. Great fights this weekend. Can't wait for the ones coming up. I'm going to go ahead and end this, and at 50 minutes, it's better than, doing another preview show and having another hour of me talking along. But also, this will give me an opportunity to actually do research on the preview shows before the fights, and, actually watch some of the... or at least research the prelim guys, maybe watch some of their past fights, and take some notes on them and actually regurgitate, and so maybe we can learn together about this shit and see who are the next up and coming fighters, who might be the next John Bones Jones, or the next Ronda Rousey, or the next Conor McGregor, or any of the next Anderson Silva, the next DC, the next anybody. I think just splitting up the recap and previews will just make this all better for myself and better for listeners. And let's keep it chugging, let's keep it going. Thanks for listening. Love you guys. Mwah.